Welcome to 123 Minimize with Jody and Linnea, the podcast where we discuss easy minimalism for busy moms. Whether you're a new mom in need of practical decluttering tips or an experienced parent seeking simplified routines, you've come to the right place. I'm Jody, wife and full-time working mom of 4. In 2017, I founded the Minimalist Mom Facebook group, now with over 270,000 members. My passion is creating a simple, healthy, and happy home where my family can thrive.
I'm Linnea, a homeschooling mom of 4. In 2021, my family and I sold our house, downsized to a 36-foot travel trailer RV, and embraced minimalism. Living with less has been liberating, and I'm thrilled to share tips and experiences to help you simplify your life. Whether you're sitting down, getting stuff done, or lacing up your walking shoes, welcome to the 123 Minimize podcast.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about minimalism and your photos and videos, so stay tuned for some insights and discussion. Okay, so how many photos or videos would you say that you take of your kids each month?
Oh, each month? Hundreds.
Yeah. Especially with digital photos,
Mm-hmm.
you can just take a lot. And if it's sunny out, I'll take more and then look at them later to see if anyone had their eyes closed. It's different. I'm old enough to remember actual film photography, right? And my wedding photos are actually film. That was right at the cusp where they were just getting into digital, but it wasn't as good at the time, you know.
Yep.
And so you took less pictures back then because you had to pay money to actually see the photo.
Right.
Now we can just go click, 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 and have 50 photos from one like park day. So when my kids were younger, I took a lot of photos. And there was one time where I had a lot of like newborn and really young photos on a computer, and the computer broke. Yeah. And so we took it in and they couldn't do anything. And then this is back when Craigslist was better than it is today. And we found this guy on Craigslist, and he came over and sat at our kitchen table and was able to get the photos off the hard drive.
Wow.
It took him hours, but he did it, and I was so relieved and grateful, thankful. And then I just wanted to be more careful with having multiple backups. So getting to where I am now, it was a progression of different ideas and things. So I went from having discs of photos and videos and putting them in a fireproof box. Yeah. Which we know that some of them can get scratched, corrupted. We can, if there were a fire, they do melt. I've heard that it doesn't always work with the discs. I would print more and have like just stacks of copies of photos in the fireproof box as well. But as technology advanced, of course, there's like more ideas, a lot of different concepts and ideas. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. So that's the problem, right? So there was one point in my parenting journey where I really wanted to get a handle on my photos specifically. Okay. Let's just start there. I had so many photos. I had like zip drives, I had hard drives, I had things in the cloud. It was just a mass of photos, big files of photos. Some of them I had emailed to myself over the years. You have some on Facebook, which we know people's Facebook accounts can get hacked and then they lose everything. Like Facebook doesn't really work with you well. So if you're storing a lot of stuff on Facebook as your backup plan, you might not always have it. Yeah. It's always a good idea to put on multi-factor authentication and things to prevent people from getting your email and your Facebook. But one idea I had years ago is I felt overwhelmed with the amount of work ahead of me. I would sit down at the computer screen and be, where do I start? Yeah. Where do I go? How is technology going to change? So I was pretty busy, and it was difficult for me to have time to deal with my photo mess and time to do fun things. So I decided to combine it, and once a week I decided to put out an invitation to a bunch of my friends who probably was also dealing with massive amounts of photo clutter. And so I put out an invite to meet at the library, and our library has these rooms that you can rent for free. as long as you're not doing anything that costs anybody money. So I put my name down on a room for every week, and we'd meet in there and deal with our own photo clutter on our own laptops. So we weren't working on each other's projects or anything. We were just sitting there, and then we could talk about other things.
Sure.
Whatever we wanted to, we could share about our lives and stuff while we dealt with our photo clutter.
That's fun.
Yeah, and so it took, I think, about a year that I was going, and I would do like a month each night. So maybe we'd be there 2 or 3 hours or more. Pretty much until the library closed. And I made great progress.
Wow.
I think everybody did. And we would share ideas about how we were dealing with our photo clutter as well. We had at least 1 or 2 photographers in the group, and they shared ideas about how they deal with massive amount of photo storage, and they take a lot of photos for other people even. So it was really helpful. And it was consistent. There was accountability. So it brought consistency so I could tear through a big project over time without giving up and feeling overwhelmed.
That's great.
So the process that I came up with, which is now totally sustainable, and I've continued to do it every month for years.
Wow.
Now. Years. This isn't recent. This is a long time ago. So my process is I have in my calendar on my phone on the first day of every month to deal with my photos and videos from the previous month. So the first thing I do is I go through my phone and I delete duplicates, photos that I don't want anymore right away. I'm not going to load all of those into anything else. So after I delete the photos I don't want, I load them into cloud storage and I label them with the month and the year. The second thing I do is I load them into a photo printing company. I use Persnickety, but there are tons of different companies out there. This is just one that was recommended to me by a photographer. So I make a 12 by 12 collage, and it's kind of all the activities we did in the month, titling it. And then when I get enough in my cart, I place an order and I put them into scrapbook pages that are a foot by a foot. They're not individual photos that I'm printing, and I honestly prefer that because I feel like those can get mixed up over the years. And this way, the month and the year is on the collage as well. So we can kind of, oh, what year was that? Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Nice.
So I do save them digitally and print them. And the reason is because I still have little kids and they like to look at the photos. I don't want to just have it in some obscure cloud that only I know the password to and nobody ever has access to them again. So that's what I do with the photos. The second thing I do is with the videos. So I actually download all the videos from the previous month into an app called Video Shop. It's free. It's super basic. It's definitely not the best one out there, but it's ones that my kids have used a lot. But it's an app that my kids have used a lot to make fun home videos for themselves or, And so it takes all the videos and it smashes them together into one file. And then I take that file and I load it to a private account in YouTube and label it with the month and the year. So the original videos are loaded to the cloud as well. So we do have that backup no matter what. But my kids really enjoy watching videos of themselves a few months later. And so they can access it themselves. They can go on YouTube, they log into our home video private account, and they can see all the videos. And the nice thing is, as they grow up, they'll be able to watch home videos without having to ask me for them, come over. So I'm not like that gatekeeper of their own childhood memories. And so sometimes instead of renting a movie or streaming a movie, we sit and watch home videos of like, oh, it's the middle of winter. Maybe we'll watch some family vacation in the summer, a month that we did something amazing. And we laugh and have a good time. And people, I don't remember that. Oh, that's so fun. And so we get to relive the memories sooner instead of them being stored away.
That's really cool. I love that. My kids also have enjoyed watching home videos, but I have not been as organized as you have lately. So we do not have any of our recent videos available. So you've inspired me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that were in that little photo organizing group that I had years ago continued with it. So that's really good. That you can actually make something that lasts, that's sustainable and in people's lives and helps them keep up with photo clutter. Because I don't know about you, but physical clutter is easier for me to deal with than digital clutter. I think it builds up quicker. It's out of sight, out of mind. And all of a sudden it's this huge thing that you have to deal with. So in the beginning, when you're first getting started, it will be overwhelming. I know I would have, 20 duplicates of the same picture.
Oh, yeah.
But then it was from 7 years ago. And I'm like, it's just so old. So it did take me a long time to get caught up. And I did go through old printed photos and physically throw some away. I went through old DVDs and loaded them to the cloud, loaded them to YouTube. It took time. Some of it I was still doing this last winter when I had time. Because, sometimes you have time to maintain your life and sometimes you have a little extra time to dig into the old stuff. So it is a process.
But I love that you were able to get to a point where you're able to maintain it and it's a sustainable thing.
Yep.
So that you're not continually getting behind. I think in the past I've had that pattern where like once a year I sit down and do it. And it's always like, I got to find, 3 days in a row with like 5 hours each day to sit down. And it was always this really big deal. But I just love that you just do that every month and maintain that. And that's just great.
Yeah. Because sometimes if it's a huge project, you'll sit down for a few hours and then the next day you can't quite remember where you left off.
Oh, yeah.
That's what always felt overwhelming to me, is it took you at least 20 minutes to get back into the zone. So you lost that time. And so the process of getting caught up, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to offset it with like some chit chat with friends in a group. So it wasn't just me sitting in front of the screen missing out on other parts of life. I was like combining something I enjoyed with something that I didn't enjoy as much. And it took that sting away. So I would look forward to go to deal with the photo clutter instead of like, okay, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it's hard, it's like tedious, like filing taxes. Okay, I just got to do it. It's just easier to like have something fun with it.
That's a great idea.
I've also gotten better at deleting those duplicate photos right away. So let's say we go somewhere, we're out at Yellowstone or something like that, and you take a ton of pictures, but then on the drive back, I'm deleting pictures that are duplicates right away. Like not waiting till the first of the month. Do that throughout the month. And then on the first of the month or the second or whatever, right? I'm going to load that previous month and then I'm going to delete everything off my phone. So once I have it loaded to the cloud, loaded to another company onto YouTube, duplicates, of course, because YouTube owns that account. And so they could delete it if they wanted to. And persnickety absolutely could close my account if they wanted to. They could go out of business. Anything could happen.
Right.
But I have it on the cloud as well, but then in just kind of some kind of streaming platform where the kids can access it. So if they did delete it or close my account, okay, I would go back to the cloud and try to load stuff to some other place. And there's really nothing you can do when you're using third parties. You can't totally guarantee that they're going to always be there. So that's a risk, but I feel like there is nothing completely safe.
No, even a drive or a disc or a DVD, any of those things can fail or get broken or... So, I think it's good that you have it in multiple places.
And then deleting everything off my phone just makes it a cleaner start for the next month. Yeah. It saves, frees up space. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Keeps it clean and tidy. I think it's important to remember what the purpose is. So why are you organizing your photos or videos? Yeah. I'm not going to last forever. So the point is to help other people in my family have access to their memories. Yeah. And so if I just put it somewhere attached to my email with a specific password, then it's going to be harder for the kids to access it when they're adults. Yeah. So hopefully this way they'll be able to just freely access it and they won't even think about not being able to.
It's like a legacy you're leaving almost.
And there are a ton of platforms out there that you could use. I get nothing from promoting any of the companies I've said so far, like PhotoBucket, Shutterfly, Adobe Creative, Flickr, Dropbox, Google Photos, and more. There's so many out there. So it's really about figuring out what you're going to continue to use. Yeah. What has enough space that you can use it for a long time. Yeah. And if you do want anything printed or a calendar as a gift or, any kind of that stuff, are you loading it to those places?
Yeah, I use Google Photos on my phone, which runs in the background. So it's not something I have to go physically and actually make it upload. And the same for our computer, which, I'm not on the computer as much. I use my phone more than my computer. But when I'm on the computer, We have a service called Backblaze that runs a backup of all our files that we choose. So once but then I have to actually download the photos onto my computer for them to back up to that service. But we do keep our photos on our drive, and then it also gets uploaded. So technically we have our photos and videos in 3 places. 2 of them are online and one's on a hard drive.
Yeah.
Which could become obsolete in a very small number of years maybe, but for now, that's what works for us.
Yeah. And I think with technology changing and wanting to keep backups of photos and videos, it's always a good idea, in my opinion, to delete things as you go. That way you don't have a lot of duplicates of something that you never wanted.
Right.
You accidentally took a picture of your foot.
Yeah.
While you're trying to get it out quickly. Delete that right away.
Yeah.
Get that right off of everything so you're not, potentially paying money for storage of a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
The 52 photos of your kid blowing out their birthday candles. It's just too much, Because the purpose of a photo, for me, is to trigger a memory. And so if I can get one photo that triggers a memory, that's all I need. I don't need 52 of the same thing to trigger the memory. The result is the same for me. When I first started with this, I even had VHS tapes and those small tapes that you put in a video recorder. Back in the day, when my first was a baby, we had that. But our wedding video came on VHS and DVD. Oh, yeah. So I guess they weren't sure if DVDs would really last or not. So one of the first things I did there was send in the VHS tapes and get them digitized. Yeah. So then they sent me a DVD, but they also sent a login to download. And so that was nice, because then I could get them in a cloud and also on YouTube, actually. I even found a VHS tape from the late 80s that had an old family reunion on it. And I got all that onto YouTube and then emailed a link to a bunch of our extended family.
Oh, that's fun.
And so that was fun. So instead of this tape sitting in storage where nobody even probably remembers it existed, they could go on and look at it and see old relatives that had passed away or just see how young everyone looked back then when I was a little kid.
That's a great idea. I actually have been working on a project like that. When I was a kid, we were one of the only kids on the block to have a tape recorder. I mean, it was still kind of new to have a personal one. And it was one of those big dinosaur giant things you had to put on your shoulder. But so when my friends came over, that's all we did. We made videos. And we didn't have any editing software, because it was pretty big and expensive to have the VHS to VHS editing thing. But we just had a blast. So I have tons and tons of home videos of me and my friends. And I have been digitizing them and trying to edit and put together for different friends. But I didn't have that idea to just put them on YouTube like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And
you can
send
make
them
it private so that nobody can even search for it.
Yeah. Oh, I totally would make them private. But that's an awesome idea. I'm going to go and try that.
Yeah. Because, what's the point of all this digital clutter? It's to share it with other people and to share their memories and help spark that memory, especially back then where I have very few videos of my life because we did not own a video camera. So there's old pictures, Polaroid, stuff like that, but not video. And so most people, I think, didn't have big video recorders. And so what a gift that they get to see, or their kids would get to see them talking and moving and not just in a photo.
Right.
So our big advice to you is to find support to tackle this project. If you have friends or are you looking for accountability, we have daily challenges, which we've talked about before, free daily challenges in Minimalist Mom. And we do have photo days and interacting with those posts can be very helpful to keep that accountability. And honestly, if you're only able to tackle your photos once a month, it's still going to make progress.
Right.
Every little bit helps. My advice with that would be to take notes so you remember where you left off.
Yes.
So if you have a lot of digital files, just writing down where you stopped.
Yeah.
because that can be overwhelming a month later to come back and try to remember where you stopped. At the time when you're stopping, you think you're going to remember. Oh, this is where I am. I'm going to totally know. But then putting a little note in the calendar, okay, next time this is where I should start again, can be kind of helpful. So making it fun for yourself, like I said, if you can get together with other people, or maybe your photo night is by yourself and you just put on a show. Like a show that you can kind of passively watch and do something else. Something to just make it a little bit more fun so you look forward to it is going to make it get done a lot more consistently. And then figuring out your method before you start. So let's say you're going to put it on a certain kind of storage system, or you're going to order something or whatever, kind of jotting that down. You know, these are your 3 steps. Because then next month when you get back into it, you can look at that, oh, right. Writing the passwords down as well. Maybe you change devices and you don't remember the password. Just anything that will kind of make the whole process less frustrating is going to be helpful.
This is a great time to mention our upcoming Spring Declutter event in April 2024. We will be holding a 4-week Facebook event that has been designed to help you reach your minimalist goals. We will provide you with all the tools and the structure that you need to be successful. You'll receive a 70-plus page workbook and be a part of a private Facebook group for connection and accountability. We'll also provide you with guidance through daily tasks, tips, prizes, and coaching. Registration is now open at our website, and we would love to have you join us.
And that's a wrap for today's episode about minimalism and your photos and videos. We hope you enjoyed this topic and found a few tips that might help on your journey.
We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our amazing listeners for tuning in. Your support and curiosity are what keeps us going. For more tools and resources to help you on your journey toward a simpler life, visit our website, www.123minimize.com. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an opportunity to explore new ideas and perspectives. And if you're inclined, leave us a review, which helps to spread the word to others who might enjoy the journey too. As always, feel free to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram to share your thoughts, suggestions, or just to say hi. Until next time, stay motivated. Take care.